Ever get that feeling like some of the best marketing strategies are really just rediscovering something that's been around forever?
Totally.
That's kind of what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
It's all about relationship marketing. We're going way back to like the beginning of it all.
Right back to the start.
And trust me, you're going to want to grab a notebook for this one.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
So we're digging into some articles about, well, the history of relationship marketing going all the way back to the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Big hair, shoulder pads, the vibe.
Yeah.
But also some fascinating research on something called social exchange theory.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really cool because we're going to tie it all together
Right.
to see how, get this, understanding human behavior can actually help you build stronger relationships with your customers.
I like it, yeah.
Powerful stuff.
It's interesting how sometimes, what seem like the simplest ideas
Yeah.
actually take a long time to really catch on.
Right.
Like, think about Leonard Berry back in 1983.
Okay.
He writes this paper on, you guessed it, relationship marketing. And at the time, it was like revolutionary.
Really? Revolutionary how? Was it just that people weren't like trying to be best friends with everyone yet? I mean, what was going on back then that made Barry's idea so groundbreaking?
Back then, business was all about that single transaction.
Okay.
Close the deal, move on to the next one,
Yeah.
But Barry, especially looking at service industries particularly,
Right.
he realized that building trust, building loyalty with your customers, that was a game changer.
I can see that. Instead of just constantly having to find new customers, you're investing in the ones you already have.
Exactly, and it's more profitable too.
Makes sense. It sounds obvious now, but I guess back then, that was a huge shift in how people thought about business.
It was a big deal.
But Barry wasn't the only one onto something big, right? We're also looking at social exchange theory,
Yeah.
which actually goes back even further to the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
I know, right? It's like we're about to crack open some ancient marketing secret.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Well, think of it this way. Social exchange theory, or SET for short, it gets at the heart of how we interact with each other, like as humans.
Okay.
And not just between businesses and customers, but in any relationship, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
So for those of us who weren't, hanging out in sociology lectures back in the 50s,
Yeah. Break it down for us.
give us the SE crash course. Who were the big thinkers behind it all?
Well, think about it like this. Any relationship you have, friends, family, whatever, it's all about give and take, right?
Right, yeah.
You get something, you give something.
Makes sense.
Ideally, everybody wins.
So mutually beneficial.
Exactly. And two guys who really dug into this were, let me see, Homans.
Okay.
He was writing about this back in like 58.
Wow, way back.
And then Blau, he kind of picked up where Homans left off a few years later.
So they were the SET pioneers, basically.
Pretty much. And their big idea was we're always like subconsciously sizing up our relationships,
Right.
weighing the costs, the rewards.
Like a mental pro-con list.
Exactly. Even if we don't realize we're doing it.
So it's like this hidden spreadsheet in our brains.
Yeah, exactly. Tracking every interaction. Okay, I bought you coffee twice. You complimented my shoes. Are we even?
Yeah, something like that.
I can definitely see how that plays out with like how I interact with brands and businesses.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if I feel like a company actually cares about me as a customer, I'm way more likely to stick around.
Of course, makes you want to be loyal.
Exactly.
And that's why this whole SESET thing, it's not just some abstract theory.
Right.
It's like the foundation for why relationship marketing works in the first place.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection.
It's not just some marketing fad. It's literally how we're wired as humans.
We're hardwired for connection,
Exactly.
which I guess leads us to the million-dollar question. How do we actually use all this knowledge?
Right. To, build those really strong, lasting relationships with customers.
Great question, and it's not always easy.
I bet. Knowing how humans work in theory is one thing, but actually putting it into practice.
Yeah, it's a whole other story.
It's got to be more than just like being nice to people.
Right. It's definitely more than just being nice, although that's a good start.
Right. Of course. Got to have the basics.
But to really make it work, we got to go deeper than that.
All right. So how do we do it? What's the secret sauce?
Well, you could say that the secret sauce is understanding how to kind of nudge people in the right direction, but not in a manipulative way.
Right. Ethically.
Exactly. And that's where behavioral triggers come in.
Behavioral triggers.
Yeah, they're like specific actions or cues that lead to pretty predictable responses from people.
Okay. So it's about understanding what makes people tick
Yeah, what motivates them?
and using that to kind of steer them in a certain direction.
In a way, yeah, but it's important to remember we're not talking about tricking people here.
Right, right. No mind control.
Exactly. It's about working with human nature
Okay.
to create situations where everyone benefits.
Win-win scenarios.
Exactly.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Who doesn't love a win-win?
So what are some of these magical triggers? How do we make these win-wins happen?
Well, let's start with one that's pretty fundamental to us as humans. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
You ever notice how, like, if someone does something nice for you, you kind of feel obligated to do something nice back?
Yeah, totally.
It's like built into us.
Makes sense.
Like those free samples at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
You try a little piece of cheese, suddenly you're buying the whole block.
Uh-huh. It's true.
It's simple, but it works.
So how can businesses use that? Besides, giving out free cheese.
It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It's the thought that counts.
Okay.
Like a handwritten thank you note after a purchase,
Oh, that's nice.
or a surprise discount for your loyal customers.
I love those.
Or even just, going above and beyond to solve a problem for someone.
Yeah, good customer service.
Exactly.
Make them feel heard.
It all goes a long way in building goodwill.
So it's like that saying, people might not remember what you said, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Exactly.
And if you can make someone feel appreciated, well, that's huge.
It can create a real bond.
Okay, so reciprocity is big. What else is in our behavioral trigger toolbox? So we've got reciprocity, making people feel special, which makes them want to return the favor.
Right.
What else can we do to kind of hit those sweet spots, create those win-win situations?
Well, have you ever noticed how, like, you're more likely to try a restaurant?
If it's busy.
Exactly. Or if it's got, like, a line out the door.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Or how, like, one good review online can totally make you want to buy something.
Oh, 100%.
That's social proof in action.
Social proof, right.
We're kind of hardwired to trust the wisdom of the crowd,
Yeah, it's like, well, if everyone else likes it,
It must be good.
that must be good.
Yeah.
So how do businesses tap into that?
Well, testimonials are huge, obviously.
Right.
Online reviews, those are key.
Yeah, makes sense.
But you can also, like, feature user-generated content.
Ooh, good idea.
Show off your social media engagement.
Right.
Even just highlighting how many people have bought a product.
Oh, I see. Yeah, like proof of concept.
Exactly. You're basically saying, hey, look, everyone else loves us. You should too.
It's like you're borrowing that credibility
Exactly.
to show that you're like the real deal.
It's all about building trust.
Okay, so we've got reciprocity, we've got social proof. What else? What other triggers are we working with here?
Another big one is emotional connection.
Okay, yeah, that makes
People want to feel something,
Yeah, it's not enough to just like offer a good product anymore.
Exactly. They want to connect with brands that share their values.
It's like they want to feel good about the brands they support.
Yes. And they're more likely to stick around if they feel that connection.
Right. It's about more than just the transaction.
Exactly.
Okay, can you give me an example?
Sure. Think about a company like Tom S. Shoes
Okay. Yeah, I know Tom.
and their whole one-for-one model.
Right, where they donate a pair.
Exactly. For every pair you buy, they give a pair to someone in need.
It's a really cool model.
And it's not just marketing. It's a core part of who they are as a brand.
Right, so it feels authentic.
And that resonates with people, It makes them feel good about buying from Tom S.
It's like they're aligning their values with their customers' values.
Exactly. And that's a powerful thing.
Okay, that's a good one. So reciprocity, social proof, emotional connection, anything else? Are we missing any tools in our behavioral trigger kit?
Well, there's a reason you see limited time offer and only a few left in stock everywhere you look.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Scarcity and exclusivity,
Oh, it gets me every time.
it plays on that fear of missing out,
Even when you know it's a marketing tactic, it's like, ooh, gotta get it now.
Exactly. It creates a sense of urgency.
So use it wisely.
Exactly. Don't want to overdo it.
Okay, what about personalization? That feels like a big one these days.
Huge. People want to feel like individuals, not just a number.
Yeah, nobody wants to be just another sale.
Right. So it's those personalized recommendations on Netflix,
How does Netflix always know what I want to watch?
Algorithms, my friend. Or that email from your favorite store wishing you happy birthday.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
It's all about making it personal.
Those are the little things.
Exactly. Those little touches can make a big difference.
So we've covered a lot, from reciprocity to personalization. And it feels like we've only scratched the surface of, like, how understanding human behavior can really change the game when it comes to customer relationships.
We have, but these examples give you a good starting point.
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about.
And the key thing to remember is this isn't about manipulating people.
Right, right. It's got to be ethical.
It's about understanding what motivates them
Meeting their needs.
and creating experiences that feel good for everyone involved.
Win-win. So for our listeners who are ready to start putting all this into practice, like what's one small step they can take today?
Honestly, just listen.
Listen.
Yeah, listen to your customers. Pay attention to what they're saying, what they're not saying.
I like.
That's how you figure out how to create those genuine connections.
It's about building relationships.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you with that food for thought. We've been diving deep into the world of relationship marketing, and let me tell you, it's fascinating stuff. We've talked about everything from the history of it all to some really powerful behavioral triggers that can help you build stronger, more authentic connections with your customers. And remember, it's not about tricks or, being sneaky. It's about approaching these relationships with empathy and wanting to create situations where everybody wins. Until next time, keep those connections strong, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.